Good morning, everyone. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. How have you been? I wanted to go over community today. Do you guys know what community means? Well, community is when you live around people. So I live in Park Hills, and so my community would be people that live in Park Hills and surrounding towns. So, like Farmington, Deloge. Whoop, sorry, I'm trying to fix my camera. Any of those are our communities. And it's important to know that sometimes people in our communities may be different than you. Um, they may look or act differently or like different things. But the Bible reminds us that we should treat like people that we wanted to be treated. So let me try that again because I messed up my words. We should treat others like we would want to be treated. That's what it says in the Bible. And I want you to think about, how do you want to be treated? And can you treat others this way even if they're not like you? So can you treat others the same way you want to be treated even if they're not like you or don't like the same things? I want you to think about that. So the Bible verse I want to go over today, there's two of them. The first one is from 1 Corinthians, and it's chapter 13, verse 13. So what it says is, now faith, hope, and love remain. These three things, and the greatest of these is love. So in this, it's telling us that faith, hope, and love remain, but the greatest of these three words is love. So I want you to think about that today. So, have you guys ever heard of the golden rule? I remember hearing about it all the time when I was younger. What my parents would say to me and how I should treat others. Do you guys know what the golden rule is? So, in the golden rule, you can find it in Matthew. Let me find it again. It's Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. All right. So I'm going to repeat that again because I want you to go over this verse every day this week. All right. Every day I want you to go over this verse with your parents. So it's Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. And it says, so in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. So what that basically means, I'm sure you've heard your parents say, treat others the way you would want to be treated. I used to hear that all the time. And it tells us that in the Bible. So even if you might have a disagreement, even if you may not see things the way as others, treat them the way you would want to be treated. That doesn't mean you might not get an argument every now and then or have a disagreement. It's not telling you you won't, but it's saying that you need to treat them like you would want to be treated. So that means if you were to have a disagreement, let's not name call. Let's not get in too big of a fight. You can still have a discussion, but in the end, we are all a community. We all should love one another, and we should treat each other with kindness. That sometimes gets missed a lot because we're not all going to like the same things. I mean, for example, I love chocolate. Not everybody loves chocolate. My daughter Quinn loves vanilla. I don't think she's any different. I don't think she is. I kind of question why she doesn't like chocolate, but that doesn't mean I'd love her any less. So that's just an example, but there are many things in life that you will run into that we may not agree on. But just to remember to love one another and to treat people with kindness and to think of that golden rule. Do you remember what verse I said that was from? What book of the Bible I said that was from? Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. So keep that in mind. Every day I'd like you to read over that and think about what it means to be a good community member, and how we can be kind and love one another even when we may have a disagreement. So I'm going to read some examples of some things you may run into. And you can think of some too. Think of some different things that may have happened in your life that you could have handled differently or that you may have handled very well. So us as adults, we do it too. We are definitely guilty for it, me included. So Jesus taught us a special rule. We call it the golden rule because it is very important. The golden rule says you should treat people in the same way that you want people to treat you. So example number 1, there is a student at my school who doesn't have many friends. Sometimes the other kids make fun of her for sitting by herself at recess. I feel bad for her, but I already have friends that I play with every day. What can I do? So I want you to think about, what could you do in this situation? I want you to put yourself in this other kid's situation, okay? This child, it says it's a little girl, she's sitting by herself at recess. So what if you were sitting by yourself at recess and you had no one to play with? What would you want someone to do in that situation? I'll tell you, I would want someone to come up and talk to me and play with me. So in that situation, we think about how that other child would feel and try to act upon it in that way. And that can be hard sometimes because maybe we've never been in that situation. But it's good to try to put ourselves in that situation so that we can show people kindness and love. Someone's saying hi. I'm going to say hi real quick. I think it's either Thad or Daphne, but it's Miss Kate. Hello, hello. I'll tell you guys hi. I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, I love it. Yes, super sad and ask if you would play with them. That's right. That's exactly right. Because you would feel sad. I would feel sad. And I would almost feel embarrassed. I think I'd feel embarrassed too because nobody is over there talking to me. So that would make me very sad and maybe even embarrassed. I like that answer though. Ask them to play with you. I love it. All right, so here's number 2. My brother makes me so mad. This happens a lot in my house. He borrows my things without asking, and sometimes he says mean things to me. I want to be mean back to him. What can I do? Well, this is a tricky question. Because one, I never want anybody to take, you don't want to be so compliant that someone's going to be cruel to you. So you don't want your brother to be cruel to you. At the same time, you really don't need to be mean back, okay? Because that's not doing anything. That's just going to keep it going and going and going. So you have to think, if I was being mean to someone, how would I want them to react? I don't think you want them to keep being mean to you. Daphne says to be calm. That is true. And that's very hard when you're getting really mad at someone, is to be calm. But the best thing to do is to be calm and think about what you need to do. And in this situation, you can do various things. Definitely don't hit them back and don't name call them. One, you can go talk to a parent or an adult of what's going on, and they can help intervene and have you guys think about and talk about things. The other thing you can do is kill them with kindness, is what I always say. So even when someone's being mean back, sometimes they want you to be mean back for whatever reason. They want to fight with you. They may be having a bad day. They're looking for a fight. Don't give them a fight because that's what they want. Just be nice to them. Be nice to them and just walk away. So Thad says go with the flow. That's right. Just don't get into it with them because that's just going to make things worse. So there are many different answers to that question, or to that instance. But talk with your parents and see what they would do. But I would definitely not fight with them. If I needed to go talk to an adult, I would talk to an adult about it. But just be kind to them because they're just looking for a fight. So, next one. My grandmother just died. I know my grandfather misses her and is lonely. He lives far away from me. So I can't go visit. So a lot of people right now, we can't go visit because we're not allowed to travel a lot right now. So what could you do in this instance? Well, the good part about today is what we didn't have when I was younger is we didn't have all this where you can see me on the internet and FaceTime and video stream and things like that. So you could do something like that if the grandfather or family member has that, just so you know, or so they know that you're thinking of them. The other thing you could do is I love to have my kids make cards for people. So you can make cards for them, send them something to let them know if there was something special, a memory that you guys share. You could send them something like that too to let them know that they're not alone and that you're thinking of them. Yeah, you agree, FaceTime. We like FaceTime in this house. We do that a lot. So the other one is I haven't seen my friend at church lately, which I haven't been to church, so I haven't seen a lot of my friends lately. I'm not sure why she hasn't been here. What can I do? So this is always tricky, and I think us as adults fall short in this as well. If we don't see somebody or hear from somebody for a long time, we need to check on them. We need to let them know we're thinking about them. Because if you're not coming around and if you're going through something, I would want someone to check on me. See why I'm not coming around, see what's going on. So if you haven't heard or talked to somebody, don't wait for them to call you. They may be going through something and you might need to check up on them. Oh, I like it. Call. Boy, Thad and Daphne are on it today. They are answering everything great. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I miss our discussions at our table. We always had some good discussions in Sunday school. Sometimes when I hear the news about things happening in our world, I get sad. There are many people who are hurting. What can I do? That's tough because that can be overwhelming because the world is big. And when we see things, it just seems so big on the news with all these different cities, all these different things. There's so much fighting going on right now between our country. This side thinks they're right. This side thinks they're right. Nobody can come to a middle ground. And we see that on the news a lot. And we see people getting hurt on the news. And it can be overwhelming. But we talked about community. And we have a community. We have a small community. We don't live in a big city. We have little towns around us. But one thing we can do as a community is love and show kindness. And if we do that, maybe someone else will see that and they'll be loving and showing kindness. And then they may do that. So as we do those things and as we set a good example for others, hopefully it will continue to grow and make an impact on the world. So even though it may be very small and may just start with one person, it can grow to a bigger and better outcome for everyone in the world. So even though it may seem small, it makes a big difference. And what I tell my kids is you may only make a big difference in one person's life, but that's the world to that person. I can think of an instance when I was in school, and I never thought it was a big deal. I made mistakes when I was younger. I may have not been as kind sometimes as I thought I should have been. And I think sometimes it wasn't on purpose. I never really went out of my way to make fun of people, but I just didn't go out of my way to talk to people either. So that's one thing I've worked on as an adult. But what you can do is, the example I was going to give you is there was a girl that got made fun of, and she was a freshman when I was a senior. And she was a very nice person, real cute person. But for whatever reason, I don't know why, they were mean. And all I did was just said a couple things to people of just stopping. And I was friendly to her. And she came up to me years later and thanked me for that. And it's not something I thought was a big deal, to be honest. But it meant a lot to her. So just thinking about those small things we can do to others can make a big impact on the world, because it will show to others, and it can just be like a ripple effect. It can just keep going and going and going. So let's see. So one thing I just want you to think about this week are these situations here. and what the golden rule means. So there are different situations in your life you will run into, but if you always keep the golden rule in mind, then you'll know how to react in that situation. Oh, there she's in her pajamas, guys, and chips. So I got one more thing, if I can find it. I think I closed my thing and got distracted here by Harper. I'm gonna play a little bit of showing kindness game, and then we'll be finished. All right. So think of the golden rule with this. I want you to say each of these. There's 10 examples, and I want you to tell me if it's an example of kindness or not. So if you think it's an example of kindness, put kindness. And then on the other one, you could put no. Okay, so if it's not an example of kindness, just put no. All right, and you can comment on the section there. So number 1, letting someone go first. Is that a show of kindness or not? I'm giving you a sign to answer if you're still on there. What do you think, Harper, with messy hair and your pajamas? Do you think it's letting someone go first? Is that a show of kindness or not? What does that mean?
Yes.
It's a show of kindness? Yes, it is. All right, what about skipping in line? Is skipping in line in front of people showing kindness? You're like running into me, baby. There you go. So is skipping in a line showing kindness, Harp? Oh, 1 is kind. Very good. Yes. So what do you think, Thad and Daphne? Do you think skipping in line is showing kindness? No, it's not. Number 3, saying mean words. Very good, Thad and Daphne on number 2. That's right, it's not. What about number 3, saying mean words? Is that showing kindness?
No.
No, you're right. Mean words makes us feel bad, right? Oh, we lost Harper. Mean words can make us feel bad. Number 4, coloring a picture for someone. Is that showing kindness? It is showing kindness. I love getting pictures from my kids at school. That's right, then, Daphne. Number 3, no. So coloring a picture for someone, yes, it does show kindness.
And I also colored a card for me. What?
I don't know who you're talking about. You color cards and stuff for people all the time.
Yeah, I know, but I was someone at school.
At school?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know her name.
Okay, well, don't shove, because I don't know who you're talking about.
I think it's
That's right, it is.
R.
I'll have to let me think about it, and I'll get back with it. Holding the door for someone. So holding the door open for someone, is that showing kindness?
Yes.
Yes, it is. What about number 6, ignoring a new student? So if you see a new student and you just don't talk to them, you ignore them. No, it's not showing kindness. Because they're probably scared and they're looking for someone to be a friend with. Number 7, playing with someone new. Is that showing kindness?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. Number 8, making fun of someone.
No.
No. Good job, Thad and Daphne. I'm liking your answers so far. They're looking good. Number 9. And this, I think, I'll tell you in a minute. Giving a compliment. Is that showing kindness? A compliment is telling someone they did a good job, yes, or that their hair looks nice.
I said already.
Yes. So that's right, it is. And I think sometimes we fall short on that. I think compliments are a rare form anymore. It's okay to give compliments. It's a good thing. That's right. Making fun of someone, that's right. That's right, number 8. Good. Number 10, talking while someone else is talking.
No.
No. Does that happen a lot? Yeah, it does. Yeah. I think we're all guilty of it. Very good, guys. What do you think, Thad and Daphne, on number 10? Talking while someone else is talking. Are you guys guilty of that? I know Liam is, and Harper, and me.
Quinn, not really.
Quinn, not too often. Sometimes. So, what does kindness mean? We're going to go over this little bit. That's right. That's not nice to talk while someone else is talking. Kindness means the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. So that's what kindness means. I want you guys to think about who's kind in your life. Who's kind to you in your life? Okay? And try to think about how you can be a lot like them. Who you think are kind. And different ways we can show kindness. We went over those different scenarios. So we went over those different situations where we could be kind and how we can show love and kindness to others. So this week, go over
put the phone over on that side.
Okay, quit. We're almost done. Go over Matthew chapter 7, verse 12, which is the golden rule this week, and think about in situations in your life where you can react differently by using the golden rule. Okay, I think we all as a community and in the world can view this. Again, people will have differences. People have different opinions. People will believe things that are different from you. That does not make them a bad person, and that does not make you a bad person. What makes us bad or cruel is how we react to those differences. Okay? Again, like we've talked about, differences aren't bad. They just make us all special. All right? So let's remember to react in kindness and love this week, okay? And every other week. That's right, Dad, Mom, and Grammy, they are kind people.
Who?
That's Daphne and Thad, so that's right. So
Who's
think
Daphne
about
and
that and
Thad?
think of how you can react.
Daphne.
You know Daphne and Thaddeus, come on. She hasn't seen you guys so long, she's forgetting. So I want you guys to act in love and caring and sharing and all that good stuff this week, okay? Let's say a prayer, and we will see you next week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on here. All right. Dear Lord, you got to bow your head and close your eyes, sis. Yes. Dear Lord, please help us to remember to be kind and loving towards others, even if they don't see things the way we do. In your name we ask it. Amen. All right, you guys have a good week. Stay cool out there. Hopefully you get to play in some water today in the sprinkler or something. If you have a pool, good for you, because I don't. You guys have a good week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.